Well, it looks like Graham Plattner, a guy got accused again. This time he got accused of rape, that straight up. But because I guess it was a Democrat that actually accused him this time, it wasn't a Republican, they didn't feel it was political. But still, he doesn't know if he's going to drop out or not. He wants to weigh his options, and I don't know what his options are. Everybody in the Democrat Party, all the leadership in the Democrat Party, and the leaders of the Socialist Democrat wing of the Democrat Party wants him to drop out, wants him to suspend his candidacy. But I guess he hasn't done it. I guess he's got till the 13th of this month to do this. And they have others that are waiting in the wings to replace him. But this just goes to show you the people that voted for him there in Maine and the other parts of New York. They got this one gal who's from Ethiopia, I guess. And she has this ad. She goes, "We will not wait. We will not wait. You know, to get health care for all. We will not wait to abolish ICE. We will not wait to get rid of the police department." You know, I mean, this woman here, she's 29 years old. She's from Ethiopia, and she knows nothing about America. She doesn't know anything about our history. You know, and the other day, this is maybe here a little while back, and Ilhan Omar was talking about World War II, and she had it on a teleprompter, and or she was reading from a letter. I'm not too sure what it was. I just heard about this later, but she was talking about World War XI. I don't know where this girl's coming from. You know, Ilhan Omar, of course, she's from not Sudan. She's from Somalia, and she knows probably the history of Somalia, but she doesn't know the history of U.S. history. And there has never been a World War XI. But what she was looking at the Roman numerals 2, and it looks like 11, but it's Roman numerals 2, World War II. And she was calling it World War XI, which we all know there was never a World War XI. But because she doesn't know our history, she doesn't know world history, she doesn't know U.S. history. And I would agree to the fact that most kids, of your Gen Zers, which is the younger crowd, they don't know much about U.S. history either, because a lot of that, the narrative and the algorithm they put there in order for you to understand U.S. history and world history, parts of it have been taken out, or just not so much taken out, but they're not teaching it, okay? And that's not part of the narrative, part of the things that they leave out, because they want you to believe a certain way. That's why we've talked about indoctrination. Indoctrination of our kids started when I was at a young age. This started back in 1965. And I really didn't know the difference between being a Republican or a Democrat and why they were trying to teach us one thing or another. But at least there were certain things that were set. One thing that was said is that every morning we said the Pledge of Allegiance. And we understood what the Pledge of Allegiance meant. It meant we pledge allegiance to the flag, which stands for our country. That's our symbol. That's the symbol of our country, our U.S. flag. And so we pledge your allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. Okay, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Even though we can be divided at times, for the way we think, our thoughts process from the Republican to a Democrat. But back in the day, there really wasn't too much difference between a Republican and a Democrat, okay? That's why they're able to debate certain things and come up with ideas, because that's what this country is really based on, is an idea. And our ideas, we're able to use our ideas to come up with new things. I mean, look at technology today. Look at Elon Musk. They talk about him being the first trillionaire. Well, look at the ideas that he came up with. You know, electric cars. He's got these rocket ships. He had the rocket that went up and rescued. Was it 3 astronauts that were stranded up at the space station that weren't supposed to be there for a long period of time? but they were because they got stranded, and he sent up his rocket to bring them back. And that was his idea. So he should get paid for that. And anybody who has these outlandish ideas, they're going to get paid for it. Look at Jeff Bezos and Amazon. I mean, sure, it's logistics. You got FedEx. You got UPS. You got all these different, the yellow truck and what's it called? The yellow truck, I guess. That's part of logistics. People delivering things. Well, Amazon was the same thing, but his idea at first was books, but then he went on to bigger and better things. And look at him now. But this was an idea that he had. And he had friends that, hey, if you invest in my company, this is my idea. And they believed in him. He was a pretty sharp character. And look what he's done now. I mean, it went someplace. But only in America. You can't do this in Russia. Okay, you can't come up with the idea. You come up with this idea in Russia, they're going to take the idea away from you and the money you're going to make for it. Okay, that's communism. They're not going to let you have the freedom to believe and to move on and to dream like they do in America. The American dream, right? So, but that's all comes from education. And education from our first day in school, they indoctrinated us. And even, who was it? Victor Davis Hanson. The other day I was watching him on a program. And I like listening to him because he's a pretty sharp cat. But he says things in a way that you can actually understand it. He doesn't try to make you feel stupid. He just says things in a way where you can understand it. And he says it slow enough and he actually explains what he's thinking about, and I like listening to him. And he said for 50 years he's belonged to the university. He's been a professor at Stanford University, and he's belonged to that university realm for the last 50 years. And he has seen in the last 50 years where the change has been made from where it meant at a time to get a degree. To go to the university, get a degree, and pay a certain amount for it. Everybody has to. Some are done by other ways. You get things from high school, and people have, usually it's your parents that help you pay your way. Sometimes you get part-time jobs to help you pay your way through college, and so you get certain things like that to help you out get through college. And if you got the grades, a lot of times. That helps you in itself. And but he said being part of this university realm, and he can see where it's actually, the cost has gotten a lot higher. When they got their degrees, there really wasn't jobs ready available. I have a friend of mine who his son went to college. And he got a degree in what's economics and logistics. He got a job in logistics, and he was working that. And he was, calling out. He was working for a trucking outfit. He was calling out loads and putting loads here, but he was in an office all the time, and he really didn't like that. Even though he got a degree with that, he became a truck driver. He just, this is what I like best. So. Even with his degree, now he's a truck driver. Truck drivers make good money, don't get me wrong. But he was taking less money being a truck driver than being in the office and setting up loads, putting out loads for the truck drivers themselves, logistics, okay? So a lot of people get to college, get their degrees, and then they don't have nothing for them on the outside. And especially now with AI, the way AI works. Come on, AI, you can't believe half the stuff AI puts out. Now, the other day I was watching, it was on the 4th of July actually, and I was watching Johann Mandami speak about how the brown people and the black people don't really stand a chance in white America. Now, I'm paraphrasing now. He said it was along these lines he was saying. I'm not saying exactly what he said, but he was saying that the white supremacists, they're the ones, the white people, they're the ones that are getting all the good jobs. They're the ones that this country's made for. And then at the same time, now this was on, I watched this on Fox. I also saw it on Newsmax, this particular segment. And I also saw it later on. I saw it on ABC. And it was altogether different. He was sitting in front of George Washington's desk, and he was talking about how this country is so great and going on and on. And it was totally different than what he said on those other two programs. Now, what I submit to you, that was AI. AI was changing his wording, making him sound differently, maybe it's changing the whole story altogether. So it's not like you can really trust, at least I don't anyway, can really trust AI and what AI tells you. But that's all part of education. And I think education has dropped the ball on our students today. I think there's a small percentage that can read coming out of college, coming out of high school. I don't want to say like 16 to 18%, 20% of students can actually read. And mathematics, they know maybe 30% of the mathematics they need to know. And the mathematics, and those are two main things. You got mathematics, got to be able to add up. What says 2 plus 2 is always going to be 4. It's all got to add up. So mathematics is very important, and reading is very important. You got to know what you're reading. You got to be able to read the road signs, right? So education is a big part of our kids today, and as it has been for all of us since you can remember. But now a lot of your Gen Zers, especially your white women, are thinking that the way to go is this Democrat Socialist realm. And socialism has never worked. Socialism is just one step away from communism and fascism. That all goes together. Mussolini was a fascist, okay? And if you ask any of these kids, and I did a deal the other day about 2 cows. We got 2 cows. Well, socialism, you got 2 cows, you give one of them away. That's socialism. You give people part of your money, what you make. And communism, they just take both cows, and you might get some milk out of it. Fascism, they're going to take your cows, they're going to milk them, they're going to sell the milk, you're not going to get any of it. And then Nazism, of course, they just kill you and take your cows anyway. And then, and you got capitalism. Well, you got 2 cows, you sell 1 cow, buy a bull, and you make more cows. You grow from there, okay? That's capitalism. That's the whole idea of capitalism. It's a real simple process. Now, I did this podcast here, a couple of weeks ago. And it's actually a pretty good podcast. It makes a lot of sense. But it's education. And the kids, our education system has dropped the ball on our students today. And that's why they're believing what they're believing. That's why you got people like me that really push capitalism. And there's nothing wrong with a good day's work. And fascism, well, they want to give you everything for nothing. This one girl that I was talking about is from Ethiopia. She's running in She's running in for the seat in Colorado, and she's a Democrat Socialist. And she said, we will not wait. She's 29 years old. She's from Ethiopia. She knows nothing about our history. And she's making demands. We can't wait to get free health care. We can't wait to abolish ICE. We can't wait to abolish the police department. We can't wait to get free health care, and we can't wait for this is what really blows your mind when they says they get abortion back on track to where women can have abortions at the drop of a hat, and that was taken out. That was by the Supreme Court. That was Roe versus Wade was reversed. So they don't understand that socialism has never worked for any country at any time during our lives or anybody else's life that we know or before us. So we have to keep pushing that. We have to keep pushing, and I guess it's got a better chance right now because this one judge that overturned Trump on this the Save America Act and was going to slow that down. I guess that's back on track now to where we can get Save America Act passed. And whether it being done by talking filibuster or they say that talking filibuster is the only way to do it. They say I think Trump is saying that if the FISA, there's the FISA warrants that's got to be this, and it's got to be enacted by the president, and he said he will sign that as long as it comes in with a package with Pass America, Save America Act, we get legal voting, and I think that's a 85% to 15% of the people out there, Democrat and Republican and independents, that want this. This is a big thing that everybody wants. So I guess we'll see where that goes. So anyway, yeah, we have to do something about our education system and make it work better for our children, and so they can understand what's the difference between socialism, communism, and capitalism, so they actually know the difference. So anyway, this is Coffee Break with Jimmy. Please subscribe, hit that like button, and share, and hit that notification bell so next time I'm on, you can pull me up. I'll see you then. Thanks.